Hello again. Welcome, everyone. Very happy to have you with us. My name is Joanne Dorsey, and I am the Director of Communication at Rejoignez Village. And today is the final installment of our workshop from our spring learnUP semester, which took place this month during 4 weeks, every Wednesday at noon. Thank you again for being with us. learnUP is an online training program created to help entrepreneurs deepen their capabilities towards the digital transformation of their business. Before we start our last meeting of the series, I just want to go over a few rules that we have in order to have a smooth running webinar. Please mute your microphone during the training, and if you are not speaking during the question period, use the chat function to ask your questions throughout the webinar. We want this session to be as interactive as possible. Keep your cameras open whenever possible. And finally, please note that this session will be recorded, and we will send everything your way a little bit later today. So for those who are unfamiliar with our organization, Origin is a nonprofit organization dedicated to the economic development of Afro-descendant people to strengthen our economy, our financial and social role through technology and new models of wealth acquisition and distribution. We promote generational wealth. We also want to encourage people in our communities to invest in their economic health by buying and consuming from Black-owned businesses through the Buy Black movement. And in order to achieve this, we've put together the UP ecosystem, which is a range of initiatives such as networking events, personalized coaching, mobile application, and of course, webinars similar to the one we are having today. As I mentioned earlier, the Learner Program is an online training with this initiative, our goal is to provide specialized training from Black professionals and Black experts to enable entrepreneurs to take advantage of the best of digital marketing, social marketing, and digital advertising inside and outside our ecosystem. And now the main event, I'd like to introduce to you the expert for today's workshop, a UX designer, Christine Jean-Charles. Christine, are you ready?
Hello. Yes, I'm ready. Thank you, Joanne, for this introduction. I appreciate that. It's a pleasure for me to be here and to share knowledge, and hopefully this is going to help a lot of entrepreneurs get their e-commerce on point. It's a very heavy subject. UX and UI are two disciplines that requires in itself at least 4 hours, but I'll try to do my best.
It's an intro
workshop,
that's it. So we'll go step by step.
Okay, so I guess I'm able to share my screen now.
Yes, you are.
Okay, good. Okay, good. So welcome everyone. Welcome to an intro to UX and UI design for e-commerce. So this is meant to give you as many tips as possible in order for you to be able to improve your own e-commerce. However, I would always suggest for you to if you want to go in depth, to really reach out to a professional in that case, really to have an audit of your whole website. However, this is definitely going to give you the tools that you need in order to improve your e-commerce. Okay, good. So a little about me. So I'm coming from a very financial background. I've worked over 12 years for a lot of financial institution here based in Canada. And sales and investment. So I did walk my way through being a specialist in investment. So I always had that very data focused background. Moved to London after that's always been something I wanted to do. So I moved to London, and then I got in touch with a lot of companies, entertainment. I worked for Walt Disney. I worked for General Assembly. Worked for Yelp Montreal, and also U92 and Montreal as well. So being in that environment of technology, I found myself being in love with just working with the user experience. I was actually enrolling students in user experience design, and I got to learn a bit more about this discipline. So this is how it started. I founded UX by Mia in 2019. When I came back to Canada, I was like, this is so cool. I need to be doing this. I need to help entrepreneurs improve their UX design, and everything you realize by working in that field that really everything is related to your user experience. What involves your users and your process is user experience. What's make them buy your product is if they're satisfied with their user experience. So overall, it was so centered with user experience that I was just like, I'm touching everything right here, because basically everything is UX. So we'll dive a bit more into what is specifically UX. So I started incorporating comprehensive design to create clearer visual for my clients in finance when I was working in entertainment as well. So it really create that memorable experience, and I wanted to push further with that. So as I said, I founded UX by Mia in 2019. It's a Montreal-based company. We have clients across the globe. We specifically help clients improve their digital experience, but overall using quantitative and qualitative data. Qualitative being having user research, making research on competitors they may have. Also quantitative, which is also gathering information, looking at their stats, their Google Analytics perhaps, or other quantitative data that's going to help us really come up with the best user experience. So I focus on artists, businesses, overall businesses, but mostly artists that to help reach out their full growth potential with innovative design and experience. Lately, I've been working with a lot of artists, so this is and I kind of enjoy being an artist myself in my spare time. So website audit, we do mobile apps design, training workshop, UX and UI design, and analytics design, as I mentioned. Okay, so we have that mojo that good design matters and great experience even more. So it's very cool that your website looks nice and all, but overall, we really want to create that experience. And what create a very good experience for your user is those three major pillars that I call that your design needs to be informative, needs to be intuitive, and it needs to be consistent. So as long as you keep those three pillars, you're able to create a good user experience. There's a lot of subsecondary pillars that comes in line with that. However, these are the three main pillars in my opinion, and those that I've been using throughout my careers. So informative, you need the message to be clear while any content that you put on your website needs to be clear. It needs to be insightful. So if I'm going through your e-commerce, I want to make sure that I'm getting some information out of it. So which creates the need, which creates the need to react to this actual need. So it needs to be intuitive in terms of, I know that it's easy for me to navigate throughout your e-commerce. I don't have that many questions. I know that if I'm looking to a specific product, I know that if there's other colors, I don't have to come back and then look for another colors. Everything is laid out properly in order for me to keep going through this checkout process, because the goal is to bring your user throughout the checkout process. And also it needs to be consistent. So if you did put an information on your homepage that says that you're shipping is free, for example, make sure that once they check out, there's not an extra charge that will appear suddenly. So your information needs to be consistent. The layout you put needs to be consistent. Three different design and one website usually disturb the visual and disturb the user as well. So what do you mean UX UI? So I get that question a lot because when I promote my services or if I get in touch with anyone, a lot of person have that misconception of what is UX or what is UI. So I wanted to give you a clear understanding. The user experience is based on your user's feeling. So how do they feel when they get on your website? How your user are feeling using your website as well? Can they easily find what they need and how it works? So usually user experience focus a lot on research, on qualitative and quantitative data, as I mentioned earlier. So we do research such as user research. We do a lot of user interviews. We do user persona. So we try to find to really understand who is your targeted audience and really find these personas and create those personas so you know exactly who you're selling your product to. UI, user interface, is more focused on the design, definitely on the design, everything that the function, the animation, how the design will in itself come together. So it's really based on the look, on aesthetic, color palette, font pairing, images, form menus, over triggered animation. So we can put call to action definitely and this discipline, which is CTAs that you'll see. I'll mention it as CTAs along the presentation. So just going a bit deeper into UX. So UX, user experience, like I said, user experience is everything. It's in the center of everything. If your users is unsatisfied, obviously, you won't be able to conclude your sale. So it's very important to focus on user experience. And a lot of companies over the years, over the past 5 years, actually, have been realizing that user experience needs to be their main focus and in the center of everything that they do. So you have your clients to your right, you have your interface to your left, and with the user in the middle. And user experience is, as I mentioned, separate in 3 categories. There's actually more than that, but it's just that I simplified it. You have user research, which will include market studies, benchmarking, competitive analysis, user research, interviews, user flow, journey mapping. Also, user flow is something that you should be able to do yourself. You need to know what's the process of your user throughout your e-commerce. And then you have wireframing, which is the design part. For me, it's sketching and establishing the structure of my website. So for example, my call to action is going to be here. My promotion section is going to be there. Oh, there they have access to other services. So it's pretty consistent throughout all e-commerce website. But obviously, I'm from the idea that old school is the new school. Old school is the new school. Used to be the new school. So it's very important to keep evolving and every step of the way. And then you have last user UX writing, which is language consistency, brand identity, and intuitive CTAs. So in which case would you need to hire a UX designer or to do a UX audit on your website? So you have to keep in mind that you're not the customer. As much as you're trying to figure out the needs of your customer, you need to make sure that they are your feedback. So you have to ask them. And this is why a UX designer could interfere in order to have real-time conversation with your users and get real-time feedback, plus quantitative and qualitative data as well that will be reflected directly on your design. So we have access to a very powerful tool, which is also free, which is a Google Analytics. This is golden for you guys. You need to be able to use it as much as you can. There's a lot of information that you can get on your Google Analytics. For example, I get contract on a lot of things such as abandoned cart rate is high. So they hire me to understand why their abandoned cart rate is high. So these are tips. These are cues that you have in order for you to understand that your user flow is probably lacking at some stage, or there's things that you need to review on your user flow. Also, your product section. How do you present your products? What are the categories? Are they intuitive for the user? Are they really reflecting the products that you are providing? Also, the amount of clicks on your main promotions are low. So if you realize that actually you were launching this promotion and the clicks on this specific promotion are very low. Sometimes it could just be linked to your call to action that is misplaced or not properly. The UX writing is not correct. So they kind of fear to click on the call to action on the button. Your user flow is too complex, so often I get hired because, for example, if I'm working on a mobile app, the user flow will be really complex. There's a lot of stage where the user have to go through. So it might be very important for a user X designer to get involved in that stage. There's few more, there's plenty more. You receive multiple questions on your products or process. This is a very big queue. If you do get a lot of questions, this is when you should ask yourself questions, because your website should be very informative. So if you have an e-commerce shop that gives the information and the user is easily able to find that information, you shouldn't receive that many requests or that many questions concerning your product or concerning your process. It could be related to the checkout process. It could be related to the check-in process. So how do we actually apply this on an e-commerce shop? So I'm going to start with this main element, which has been talking through since the beginning, which is the call to action, the CTA. It's a visual prompt. It will visually prompt your user to take a specific action. The CTAs usually offer direction and invitation to an offer. So it's often used in promotion and hero banners, which the hero banner you will see later is the top section of your website. So as soon as you arrive either on the landing page or on a home page, that's the first thing that you will see, a beautiful image, a beautiful inviting image, and then you will see a call to action. So the right keywords and that if you use the right words and your CTAs, that really could boost your conversion. And based on your audience, consider what action word will motivate them to use to interact with your website. So this is another thing where you have to know your client. You have to know who you're selling this product to in order to give really call to action that are appealing and really that will bring your user into clicking on the button. So we often see, I put a few of them on the side here. You often see save more. Save more, obviously, if you have a clientele that is looking for discounts, such as someone is shopping at Target or at Walmart, obviously this is someone that's trying to save money. So save more could be a really good call to action. Join now if you're actually promoting a program where they have to subscribe. You promoting a community, so join now, a feel of invitation. So this is where it gets very interesting. Obviously, this is not, I'm not gonna go through all of this, but you have to understand your buying process. Because as I mentioned in the beginning, the goal of having an e-commerce shop is the goal of the e-commerce for your user to actually purchase the product. So to get through the checkout process and to finally create that sale. So if you do understand your buying process, it will be way easier for you to understand where you're lacking and where you need to improve and make changes. So there's actually 6 stages of your buying process. The problem recognition. So your user realizes that there's actually a problem and they need a solution for that. So it builds the need for your user to find a solution. So it's either purchasing, for example, I don't know, a speaker. I might need a speaker because I need my music to be loud in my home. Just giving you a simple example. Information search. So then I go through the process of looking for what I need. So this is a moment where you have to keep your user in front of all, making sure that they know that your product is the best. So this is a crucial stage where you really push the benefits of your product. So we'll see that you can place them on the home page. So you really have to push them into order to think that your product is actually what they need and is much better than any competitors out there. The evaluation of alternatives. So once you lay out the benefits, obviously there's that stage where they want to go look for competitive and see if actually your product is what they really need, or if there's not something better out there. Once they did that, they go to the stage of the purchase. The purchase, like as I mentioned, don't get it twisted, they still can walk away. So this is not a final stage. They could, and this is actually the moment where you can see the highest abandoned cart rate. So they are willing to, they know that that's the product that they need, but they're still hesitating. So there's something that might trigger them to step back and not taking the actual purchase further away. Joanne, is there a way to silence the notification for me?
I'll try and find a way. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's fine. Okay, good. So, and then you have the purchase decision. This is where your good UX is crucial. Therefore, your checkout process needs to be tested. So as obviously you're not your customer, but you can definitely test your checkout process and go through the whole checkout and see if there's pain point, if you feel like, okay, at this stage, I'm clicking on this stage and for example, your user, suddenly you are shown an extra fee. Okay, that might cause a pain point here because your user thought he was paying $56 and end up paying $80. So before you get on that last checking stage, you need to let them know what are the actual fees involved and the checkout, because this could create your abandon rate to be high as well. And just to be clear, what is abandon rate? Is just simply your user is, I would say your client in that specific purpose. Your client is purchasing the item, putting it in his cart, but end up never completing the purchase. So just we all clear of what is abandon rate. So, and then post-purchase evaluation. So he's finally ready to put his cart number. His cart number is in, but he's still wondering if this is no, I'm sorry. This last stage is once the purchase is completed. So how do you follow up? How do you make sure that the user will actually make another purchase with you? So this is when you build loyalty with your customer with follow-up surveys and emails, and obviously thanking your user for making that purchase and making sure that you send them other items that they might be interested in. So this is all the process. This is all part of the user experience process. So let's dive deeper into abandon rate, because this is the 80 on all based on Burma Institution. This is the cause of 69.99% of abandon rate. So they gather a bunch of information, 48 different studies together, and they realize that in many cases, the fact that abandoned cart rate are the reason why the purchase are not made, and what creates the user to walk away. So you have extra costs that are too high. So like, as I mentioned, he gets to the last stage, which is the purchase stage, and the decision of purchase. And he realized that there's additional costs that were added to it. And he decided to, oh, I'm not sure I trust this company anymore because these fees were hiding to me from the beginning. Account is required. Often users want to be able to just make the purchase. They're not sure that they want to keep purchasing with you. So they will just, they want to make this process as quick as possible. So they just want to make their purchase, enter their basic information in order for the item to be shipped. But once we ask them to create an account, it could create a blockage. So I understand that for a lot of us, it's very important for the client to create an account. So that's why we actually keep data, we keep information about our clients, and we then can send promotions and know exactly what they're looking for, what they're purchasing. So I would suggest that once you ask your client to create an account and his experience is really to make it as easy as possible. And I'll actually show you an example of a pretty good UX design in my opinion. So also 85.65% on mobile users have even a higher abandon rate. So there's a lot of research and a lot of digging to do in that, and understanding and your checking process, what causing your user not to complete that sale. So it also could be a slow delivery. So your website is very slow. It takes time to load. So they end up moving away and just purchasing from another website. They didn't trust the website. It could be that the design seems to be very it's not looking as fresh as it should be, or some, as I mentioned, call to action or misplaced. It's very difficult to understand your flow. So they end up not completing the purchase, or unclear total cost. It a bit comes back to the first one. So these two, I would say that they're very similar, but it seems like extra costs of shipping, extra costs of are really 49% of it. I have a tool here which I added into the resource, which is a way for you to check out your usability. So this is a very good tool that Berman Institute, an institute based in Copenhagen, has put together in order for you to verify if you have actually an efficient checkout process. So these are the main page where your user will end up. And I want you to, I really want to explain the difference between landing page and home page. Often we don't know if we really need a home page. We don't know if we really need a landing page. I will say you definitely need both. Both of them are very great guidance for your users. So it's a way for you to direct them and your website and let them know what are the main campaigns that you're working on. So in terms of the landing page, this is specifically if you're looking into promoting a campaign. So for example, I'm throwing I'm a wealth beauty I'm a wealth and beauty company, but I have a promotion on candles this week. So I could create a landing page that promote exactly candles and how I can trigger my user to, as soon as he click on the link on the Google link, then he will end up landing on this page where I first lay out a main headline and supporting headline. As you can see to your left here, here my main headline is definitely find the best fashion style for you. A unique selling proposition, which is right under the text. Unfortunately, I don't think you can see. Right under it, you have a proposition that he won't be won't be able to refuse, which is often the benefit. This is your competitive aspect here. But whatever you're gonna say in that little paragraph is what's gonna trigger your user to make them understand that here's their benefit of clicking that CTA button right under. So the benefit of your offering, as I mentioned, is included in that paragraph. Images are very interactive images that captivate your attention. Testimony, which should appear on your landing page as well. A reinforcement, a statement. So why you should definitely purchase this product with us. A closing argument and a call to action. So in terms of call to action, which I didn't mention on the previous slide, call to action are often be placed on the hero banner that you see here. So which is the purple section. There's selling and then comes right after it. There's no need to have a call to action. You should at least have one call to action in this hero banner. If you want to put call to action later on further down on your website, it's totally fine. But the hero banner should always have a call to action to really trigger the user to do the specific action. If you have, like I said, a specific promotion, or you want to direct them to your shop directly, because it takes just 3 seconds for your user to make up his mind if he's staying on your page or not. And even with with the overload of information that we're currently receiving, the actual amount of seconds spent on your landing page or on your home page is actually shorter now. I think it went to 2.6 seconds. So this is not much time to convince your user that he needs to keep scrolling and he needs to stay on your website. So landing page is definitely a way for you to trigger all these information, for you to place all these information for your user to complete that action and to find the product that he needs, to respond, to answer that need that he has. The homepage now. The homepage is everything that is very precious to your brand that you want to display. So it could be, it's also your hero banner with a unique selling position, your new products, your new collection, or new arrival that you want them to be aware of. Your best sellers also needs to be on your homepage. Images or videos showing context of use. So if you're selling candles, you need to have a video of someone and that create that feeling of someone enjoying the smell, the scent of a candle in his home and the comfort of his home. So your images needs to always be related to what product that you're offering. Often, and as I mentioned, UX is really focused on feeling, and you understand that your user, if doesn't feel it, he won't buy it. So it's very important for your user to feel it. And often I found myself working on website where they would be selling candle, but they would have a picture of someone, I don't know, let's say a quick example like that of a dog, let's say. I don't have a better example right now, but so it needs to create that feeling, because obviously seeing a picture of a dog, it's not going to create that feeling. It's definitely give the feeling of a home, but it's not quite linked to the feeling that I would receive if I'm lighting up my candle. So your images needs to be clear. Oh, there you go. So what a great UX and UI website look like. So not too long ago, actually, I think it was 6 months ago, Target was considered as one of the best UX design website. So I wanted to dive in deeper into that and see what actually caused Target to be considered as a great UX. And consider that Target, which has its competitor, which is Walmart. So I was able to compare both of them and see what makes actually Target such a great e-commerce shop. And there's a lot of products that Target, a lot of promotion that they offer as well. So it is challenging for them to provide a very good user experience, and for not for the user to feel overwhelmed by all the promotion, all the information. And I have to admit, they did a very good job. So I wanted to use that example today. So we'll go into this, but overall, your CTAs are clear and easy to find, as I mentioned many times. Your navigation is intuitive. Your needs are met quickly and easily. So you know what you're looking for, and it's easy for you to find it. And if you don't know what you're looking for, you create that need while you're navigating through your website. And it's easy for you to know that, okay, if I'm looking for sport wear, then I know that soon I'll be linked to a Gatorade because I might need to buy myself a bottle of water or a Gatorade after that. So it's always fluid. It's always easy to have you always link your product in a way that it's easy for them to just go over a flow without interruption. Clean and clear design, including color match. So I just want to take that example with Target here. I took a few screenshots of their website. It's very, very, very clean in my opinion as well. So you have obviously they know that their customers are people that are looking for deals, but also looking for great fashion. Target is recognized for having good quality products and great fashion item as well. But here we are obviously in the summer. This is the summer kickoff sales. Very clear. You know already what you're getting into. You know that you have your grills. So everything related to the specific promotion. This is actually a landing page that I happened to screenshot, just quote unquote. So this is here you have your score deals. So hundreds of additional items. So if you have time and you want to keep looking, definitely they give you that option. But however, the categories are very clear. So they really direct their user into finding everything that they need related to the summer kickoff sales. So you have here your grills, as I mentioned, you have the sunny days fave, so outfits, towels. And then the following pages is actually the one with the different events coming up, which is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. You have Pride Inside and Out. So you really have to create categories for them to know if they, for example, they were looking for an outfit for a specific festival, they might click on Pride and Inside and Out. So it gives them a guidance and a way to really find the right information. Wait, should I actually show you right now the website that I appreciate? Let me just see what next do I have. Yeah, let's go. Oh, the link is not working. So I'm going to go directly on the website so I can show you. So far, do I have any questions? Joanne wasn't able to look at the chat.
No questions right now. Guys, if you have any questions, you can use the chat or maybe raise your hand.
Or if someone wants me to go throughout their website, I'm totally comfortable with that as well.
Anyone willing to play along?
Share the website?
Yes, we have Ashley, Brenda here. Do you want to use your mic or do you want to share your website in the chat so that we can go through it?
Awesome.
So yes, I would like to, but I am a service-based business, so I don't know if the example would be great for you to see. So you can go on shaylo.co. So it's SHEYLO.co.
Are you able to copy paste it in the chat?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes, I'm gonna do it.
Thank you.
Great.
Here it is.
Thank you.
Okay, good. So I'm entering the website right now, be able to share it as well. Any other questions?
No questions in the chat so far.
Okay. So maybe I can actually ask a question to the people that are attending that workshop right now. So what is the main issue that you feel like you've been having with your e-commerce shop? In terms of user experience, what are the feedback that you're often getting concerning your e-commerce shop? Maybe if you can just add it in the chat, we'd love to read them. Meanwhile, I'm going to share the website. Okay, I'm just going to stop sharing so I can share again this page. Great. Okay, so this is shaylo.co. By the way, thank you, Andrea, for sharing your website. This is amazing. So just by looking at your website right now, I can definitely tell that it's consulting, building and improving your sell tunnel. So you have 3 navigation link, which is great. Oops. Are you still looking at my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. So I lost my page then. Oh, just give me a second. I'm lost. Okay, I'm back. Okay, good. Okay, so scrolling down, I have a call to action, which is at the bottom. So if one thing I could tell you, Andrea, your call to action needs to be further up. So if they want to learn more, they definitely need to see that learn more a bit further up. So I do see that you have 4 coaches consulting online courses, creators, entrepreneur, automate and simplify your online. I love the colors, very clean. It makes me feel at home. So this is definitely a plus. However, it would just be the call to action, which I would bring a bit further up. And what is it that you want them to learn about? So it says learn how. So learn how to simplify your online businesses while having a life balance. Love that. I would put just your call to action a bit further up. And then you have sales page, which is the section where you showcase your different services or your new collection or your new product. So as I mentioned, all the website have a bit of a similar layout. So once we get to the new collection or the new products, then other services that she's offering, which is to meet her in person, or she's sharing it could either be a link related services, or could be anything related to, for example, design services that she could share on this section. And last, consulting, book your call. Perfect, because we're getting close to the contact page. So she's including a call to action here. This is actually a very good example. Did you design your website yourself, Andrea?
Yes, yes. Our name is Ashley, and yes, I do create sales funnel and pages. So I combine the design and the strategy. So I created the branding by myself, and the layouts also of the sections of the pages.
Yeah, this is a very good example. I'm glad that you shared that, because obviously she's giving a lot of information, but it doesn't feel overwhelming, because there's stages, building impact in 3 ways. So you can see that there's different stages to everything that she's actually offering. And it's easy for you to understand that, okay, if you do get a consulting services with Andrea, she will take you step by step. It's really the call to action. The call to action always needs to stand out from the background. So since I'm looking here that this section has also very similar color, your call to action needs to be different from what I'm seeing here, because it's easy to pass your call to action as if it was just a part of the design.
Okay.
So I would definitely either play with the shapes of your call to action, or I would bring it higher. So this is the first thing that they are triggered to click on. But here it's very similar to the other colors here. Same for the home page here, your call to action. You see, I was able to see it right away. I would just bring it up a little, but this color stand out from the rest. So it's very easy for me to understand that this is a clickable link, and this is the next stage where I should go. Great. Do you have any question about your website? Maybe things that you wanted to overlook concerning your user experience? Are you struggling with things for your user to find information or anything?
Not really. Actually, it's pretty new because I used to have an old one. So I did it like few weeks ago. So this version is very new, and I tried to really remove a lot of text, because I feel like one mistake that we do is trying to over explain.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I really simplify the text. And I wanted to know, like, as a user, I mean, you just scroll down. If you were looking for the service, would you think that it is easy to get there and then to understand what are the steps? Because I really tried to narrow down, even on the menu, not to have so many options, but to have that clean and really like easy to, to read and go through type of pages and branding.
Yes, I feel it. I would definitely say that your website is very pleasing for the eye. The colors are not disturbing. They match very well together in terms of the UI part. Like I said, the only thing that you would have to focus on is your call to action, because these are the most important on your website. So make sure that your call to action are quickly findable, if I could say. And soon as this is 2 seconds, by the time I'm reading this, I'm already done looking at your website. So your call to action needs to at least be a bit upper up, so up your page, so then it's easy for me to click, and then I can actually be to the real thing. So let's see if I'm clicking on Learn How. I'm getting to this page, beautiful quality, high resolution pictures. This is very important. We'll see that in my next example. So let's work together. So your services first, okay, so this is stages. So first there's a sell page design, then you work on the sell funnel, and then last you work on the strategy. Is that correct?
Actually, it's like 3 different services. So
Okay.
if you click and you only need sales pages, it will be only one. The second services will be the sales funnel, so it's much more complete. And then I detail, when you click on each of the 3 services, I detail the service on a page, just because I wanted, once again, to make the journey easy, like the person to just click on Learn How. This is the 3 services, and then you click on it, and here you get like our simplified processes and then templates and then how we work.
Okay, perfect. So you see, I thought it was actually stages, because as you show here, there's different stages. You have your discovery call, onboarding, strategy session, and building and delivery. So once I'm going back here, I feel like these actually are 3 services that you're offering. So that could bring questions. They'll be like, oh, but I thought they were all included in the service, because it seems like those are stages. Étape 1, 2, et 3. So maybe I would remove that, then these numbers, because it seems like it's part of one services. But overall, I would definitely say that your website is really clean. I really like it. It's really nice.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. Do I get another website, or maybe we're ready to go back to the presentation?
Yes,
Maybe.
Thank you, Ashley. We have 2 other websites, if you don't mind. We have one in the chat. Raymond sent www.learningrt.com.
Okay, in the chat, let me check. Okay, so I see that we have a lot of people with services, not too many e-commerce. Oh, I know this website. Great. This is a very dope services. So actually I'm gonna let just maybe. So this is definitely a website that shows, I can see in the title and the logo, it's clear it's about learning reality. So using AI in order to create to learn. Is there a specific things that you want me to look at on the website? So this was shared by Raymond.
Raymond, did you want to ask your questions in the chat or use your mic?
Yes, well, I use my mic. Thank you, Kristen, for this for taking my website. I just want to make sure that since it's a service and you were talking to a call to action, one of the things that I want is to actually get people to reach out to me, so I can do demos, so I can give them more information. So I want it to be informative, but at the same time too, the call to action, I don't know where to place it. within my
Yeah.
website?
That's a very good question. First, I like that your menu bar here is clearly in evidence. So even if we have the video, which is a very nice video, it's clearly show how we can use AI to promote for trainings. So it's clear, we have a clear idea of what your services is about. Your call to action here is at the bottom. It doesn't stand out at all. So I would definitely change the color of your call to action and start your project. So deploying successful EV VR training, augmented reality, virtual reality, and so let me click to start your project just to see where I get. Okay, so automatically you want them to get in touch with you. So,
Yeah.
so that's what I'm understanding.
Yeah.
So I would definitely give them a bit more information then, because there's not enough information in order for me to right away wants to start. So I would either mention, so what is the benefit of me? What is the benefit of me starting a project with you? So maybe you could reach out to your specific audience. Who are you trying to reach out to? So obviously I'm saying that it shows that you're extending it's for firefighters. Is it what I understood here?
Yeah,
So it
well,
could either be so I would definitely add this. I would link my persona. I would make my persona feel the need to start their project. So reaching out to a specific industry or to a specific persona and this text, because this is your proposition.
Mhm.
So now it just describe what it is, but it doesn't, it's not your selling proposition as if, okay, this is why you need to start your project with me. Because are you struggling to enroll employees are you struggling with your trainings? Are you struggling to have the very trained employees? So this is where you would work this, because obviously we're seeing this video is amazing, but then you need to work a bit more on the proposition that you're offering on the text.
Okay, sounds good.
Great. Very nice website, by the way. And yeah, that's very cool service. We've
you.
talked about it a bit.
Yes.
Thanks, Raymond.
Thank you.
Do you have any other questions?
No, that'd be it.
Okay, good. So I'm going to jump back to the, I don't know if there was other website, but I'll just want to go back to the presentation since we have
one more from Caroline, but I tried it and it doesn't seem to work. So Caroline, if you had questions, please use the chat so that we can assist you.
Good.
Maybe we can move on to Kristen.
Okay, good. So just gonna go back to the presentation then. Oh my God, 1,000 of windows. Okay, good. Okay, good. So UX, as I mentioned, UX is everything. It doesn't just sit on your website. It's everything. It's everything you do with your customer. It's every interaction that you get with your customer. And Nike is really, really renowned. Nike, such as Walt Disney also, but I wanted to focus on Nike for the specific example here, that Nike is really renowned for giving the best user experience. And I'm going to share my experience as well that I've enjoyed by shopping at Nike, Manhattan, New York as well. So an image worth 1,000 words. So it's very important that since the human brain processes visual faster than text, it's very important that you have a high resolution images, as I mentioned, great videos, and your images needs to support your content. It can't be an image that has no link with your content. It really needs to call out whatever you were saying. We need to feel it. We need to see it. So Nike has gone with this great campaign of showing what is actually instead of clicking on skateboard or soccer or here, which is yoga, and then running, you can feel it. They create those pictures that will really incite your user to click on the images. So already you have a feel. And here, obviously, you can look at their call to action, very clear. You know that those are tags, but also call to action. So you can click on shopping more women's style, or you can also shop the look. So Nike is just, if you go throughout their website, you'll see, pay attention to what we've learned today, and you'll see that this is a really good example of what a great user experience would look like on an e-commerce. Obviously, I'm guessing nobody here has the range of client that Nike has, but it's from learning from the big corporation that you really can see what you can get from how you can improve your small e-commerce. Here is another example of my experience at Nike. So great user experience can be extended, as I mentioned, to all aspects of your business. So let me explain what happened. I went to Nike. I was already amazed by looking at the store. It feels like I was about to start working out. As soon as I enter the store, it's as if you were on a basketball court or any sort of a sport court. So this is once, and I got 2 items that I wanted to purchase with them. I go to the cash, I'm ready to pay, and each item are actually $50 each. So it would cost me about $100 to get my 2 items. So then she's like, the cashier, she tells me, oh, but do you know that the same items are actually available online, and they are at 50% online. So instead of telling me, oh, you can just go online and purchase your items, I can't do it, it's better for you. No, not unless she gives me the information about the discount, but also she makes sure that she can't create that, she can't make the purchase for me still, and applying that discount because they were available online and discounted online. So this is a very unique thing, because I was talking earlier about consistency. You need to be consistent, even if your product is on sale online. If you can give it on sale to your client face to face as well, it will definitely create a sense of being taken care of. So he will really feel that your user will feel like as if you took their needs to heart, and you really try to cater your services through a full extent. So it's not, oh, it's on sale online, just go online. So I felt like this was a very good example. And then I'm talking about this little bag that I'm carrying everywhere. I got this bag when I purchased those 2 items, and I still have it. I bring it, I go everywhere with it. I put my lunch in it. So sometimes it's worth to invest a bit more. And I call them the reminders of an amazing experience. So this bag is definitely my reminder of my experience at Nike. And still today, this bag I carry everywhere. It's a reusable bag. There's a lot of information. Every time I'm wondering about the store, I can easily click on the QR code and get access to the products that the new collection of Nike. So everything is made in a way for you to remember this great experience. So I feel like it's not only on your web platform, on your e-commerce, but also once you send your products, how are you packaging your products? What do you include in your products? Gifts always make your user feel good. And many cases, it will create that need to repurchase with you again, because they felt like you were really catering their needs. So often we do see thank you card. Thank you card, a great way to create another need for your user, for them to go back on your website. This is a bit more marketing, but it's all related to your user experience, and it all brings more leads to your website at the end. So if on my thank you card, I let them know that actually I have a new collection coming up next week, and here's other products that you can actually purchase with this one that you receive. Oh, here's my podcast that you should listen to, or here's my social media. So a thank you card can not only be a blank card with a thank you on it, it has to bring more value for you and for your user. If not, it's just going to be a paper that they will throw away. So like I said, consistency by matching the prices online versus the prices at the store. That was amazing for me. I was like, wow, I don't even have to go to their website. I can just they can just do the sell for me, a reminder of this amazing experience as well. So quickly showing you, oh, none of my links are working. Okay, I'll make sure that I leave it in the presentation, but this is my experience when I walked in Manhattan, NYC, the Nike store, and it was just, it feels right away as if I was in a court, in a room. And this is exactly what I mean by creating this user experience, this feeling of being the product, suddenly feeling the product more than just the aesthetic of the product itself, focusing on the feel. Tips to help you improve your UX. Okay, I think this is almost my one of my last slide. So review your call to action, as I mentioned, and a few examples that I did earlier. You could see that I went through over the call to action needs to be clear. They need to stand out. It needs to be, we feel very overwhelmed, or as users, we feel overwhelmed when you get on the website. So it's important to trigger their attention to specific key points. So as your CTAs, so different colors stand out from the background. Still using the color palette. Obviously, you don't want a call to action that is, I don't know, yellow and your background is green. Obviously, this won't work. It could work actually, but I mean, you have to still follow a clear color palette and make it stand out from the background. Understand your user's buying process. So understand your user first and understand their buying process. So as I mentioned earlier, at the buying stage, at the purchasing decision stage, they can still walk away. There's nothing guaranteed that they will stay and complete their purchase. So you have constantly to reinforce your user that they're doing the right decision. So it could either be by offering promotion for a next purchase, or showing them that this is a package that you can get as well. So always making sure that you reinforce the need of the user, why they got to this place at the first place, why they wanted to purchase that item to the first place. So it could just be a clear call to action, or it could be just a sentence to be like, oh, you're ready to improve your learning experience, ready to train, I don't know, 40 employee at once. So it's always great to reinforce your user at this last stage. Pay attention, test your checkout process. As mentioned, we didn't get an option, we didn't get the possibility to do that, however, but look at your checkout process. They're most likely, if you do realize that you have a high abandon rate, there's most likely something wrong in your checkout process. As I said, extra costs and account requirements are often the reason why people decided to not complete their purchases. And I understand these are very important information that you need from your user. There's a way to packaging it in order for your user to be comfortable providing extra information or to booking an account. So if you do ask your user to create an account, give them an added value. Why? So what's the benefit of me creating an account? It can't be just for this specific purchase. It has to be a reason why am I going to give you full access to my information. So create that value with it. Your navigation menu should reflect your user flow. Wow, this is very important. I don't feel like I've tackled this enough. So your navigation should reflect your user flow. So if you know that most likely your users are coming and purchasing, let's say, I'm going to go back to this candles. I guess I need to buy some candles. So I'm going to go back to that candles example. So if you know that your user needs to purchase candle, so you know that they will most likely go through looking for candles. But after looking for candles, before they find this candle, they will look for navigation, in which you can tell them, okay, here's all the scents and here's what you need to know about the scents. So instead of going back and forth and trying to figure out which scents would make more sense, right away on the top of the navigation bar, you have scents. So they know that before even they know what candle they need to purchase, they need to know if this is actually the scents that they would need. So if I'm more on a lemon zest kind of scent, then I would click on send and be able to find all the different candles that are focusing on lemon. So this is great. This is great tools for you to know. So what is the process of my user buying this candle? You break it down, you write it down, and from there you'll be able to know exactly what are the key links that you need to have on your menu, on your navigation bar. Also so there's a lot of websites have usually home, about, and services, contact, and sometimes blog or podcast if you do have one. So if you have a section about, just as we saw with Shell.co, Shell.co, your about needs to give information. It needs to really say, talks about the brand, what are the most precious things that you want them to know about your website there, about your brand, about how you socially get involved. So about is really a way for your user to feel included, to feel as if you are sharing something. He's a part of it. He could be a part of a community if he does purchase your product. So about is really to give as much information about your businesses, how you get involved socially, and yeah, so I think I've covered that. And yes, so obviously, as I mentioned at the beginning, when it comes to UX design, it's very complex. There's a lot of layers to UX design and UI design. So I always suggest that you go with a professional in that case. However, there's, like I said, there's few tips things that you can review yourself, and that will gives you a lot of ideas. Google Analytics is a powerful tool, and as entrepreneur, we're not using it enough. And you can find a lot of information on Google Analytics. It's not just focusing on abundant rate. It's also about just clicks. What are the most clickable page? Maybe there's a product on this page that has more interest than others, or maybe the product that you actually showcase front page is maybe not the one that you should be putting on the third page, but you should really putting on a landing page for it. So there's a lot of layers like that. So feel free to contact me. I have all the resources here that you can find concerning the different buying process and all the information that I share, including statistics. And here are my contact page. I have an event coming up on June 21st at 7 p.m. This is more focusing on the critical thinking. So how you can learn how to design with more critical thinking, because everything needs a critical process. And I'm going to dive in a bit more into this. So I have my email, Instagram, and obviously LinkedIn. Yeah, so that's it for me. So I'm going to give it back to you. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Kristen.
My pleasure.
Guys, if you have any question, please be comfortable on mic yourself. Use your mics or use the chat so that we can go over dive into your questions. We still have a few minutes, so please don't be shy. We're here to answer you. Ashley.
Yes, I was wondering, like, if you're kind of conducting a user test on, I don't know, an app or a website, would you have like a framework to guide them, or would you just let them go through the process and just watch them and see what they're struggling with to kind of make the improvement after?
Are we talking about an entrepreneur perspective or a user perspective? So who would test the website? The entrepreneur testing his own website?
No, I would take like a random person to kind of a prospect, and then I would be the one kind of trying to see what can be the problem if they like don't find an information. But I was wondering, like, what would be the best thing to do? Is it just monitoring them, like letting them going through it and then watching them and then asking question, or there is like maybe a specific framework before where it's better to ask question and tell them, okay, the goal is to do that, trying to do it, like I don't really know what to do in that area.
Okay, so we're talking about the testing process yeah, absolutely. So what I would do is definitely let them go through the website themselves, no framework. So you need to understand, if you do give a framework, you might miss out some information. So you might see that unfortunately there's they based on your framework, they had to do this that way, but they would do it a totally different way. So it's very important to let your user use it as if you were not there. And then you take note, and then you ask question about how did they feel when they reach out this point of the website. What did they do what did they use that flow instead of that flow? Why did they click there instead of clicking there? So A/B testing is always a good thing too. So if you give them two different websites, or you give them two different options of the same website, say different layout, so you can see what caused the user to click more to go with that flow instead of that flow. So A/B testing is always a good thing as well here, but definitely let them do their thing. Let them do their thing and let them use the website the way they would. So then you can really understand what it was this process thinking. It will be easier for them to explain you the process thinking, because it's not based on what you wanted them to do, but what they decided to do. Did I answer your question?
Yes, perfect.
Okay,
Thank you.
welcome.
Any more question? Jessica?
Hi, my question is more towards the perspective of being a UX designer. Like, well, maybe it's more of a like career question, because I'm really interested about that. But what's that? Do you recommend any courses, or do you mostly go towards like experience along the line? Because I do have experience in e-commerce. I work in e-commerce, but I don't feel like I have enough like specifics about UX. So do you recommend any like courses or classes or program that you recommend for UX designers?
Absolutely, there's plenty. I personally took my classes back in London, as I mentioned, with General Assembly, which for me gives me a great base, but it's always going to be a base. UX design is really about constantly working on your for me, it was a question of working on my friend's website. That's how actually I got better and better and better until I was able to book clients and work as a UX designer. But really what built for me my experience was really working on cases, constantly working on cases, and also being very curious about understanding, like I said, I mentioned earlier, the buying process. Like you need to understand as an e-commerce, I'm sure you worked in e-commerce, so you know that the buying process is something very important for the users. So by studying the buying process, even if I was not specifically interested in e-commerce at the beginning, just understanding the buying process helped me see where was the pain, how can I phrase that? Where there was possible pain points, let's say. So that was definitely something that I needed to constantly improve, keep learning, constantly read about UX, because UX is evolving. UX has been in the game for less than 10 years. So we talk about UX today as if it's always been there, but it's a really new discipline. So it's very clear that it's evolving constantly, and like I said, the old school today used to be the new school. So there's training such as, I know Google is offering a Google certification. I haven't done it myself, but I know a lot of person that I know that have gone through Google certification, but it's still not enough. And for personally, it's going to give you the base of UX, but you still need to go through making a lot of research yourself and really investigating websites, apps, as if you were doing a case study. So it's really important to keep investigating. But yeah, there's so many courses out there. I couldn't name. Maybe I can share a list with you afterwards. It's Jessica, right? Jessica.
I'll add you on.
Okay.
We can talk.
And also maybe one more thing, as a UX designer, one thing that is very important is to have empathy. And empathy is the main thing that you should have as a user experience designer, because then you can really understand what this user is feeling, and that brings the good question as well that comes with the testing and the prototyping.
Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your question, Jessica. It was a great question. Tristan, if you want to send us the information, I'll be sure to send it to
Yeah,
Jessica, but
absolutely.
also
I'm
to
gonna
the
create a
rest
list.
of the class. Maybe there's somebody else that is interested.
Yeah.
We still have a few minutes left to our webinar. If you have any question, please don't be shy. It could be either in English or in French. Si vous êtes plus à l'aise à poser votre question en français, n'hésitez pas à utiliser le français. You can use your mic, you can use the chat. A few more questions? No?
It's funny because I had the feeling that I would have more services oriented.
Oh, wow, good feeling.
People. Yeah, definitely. Because e-commerce is
It's another beast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh, I have somebody that has their mic on. Well, if there's no,
Sorry.
Is there a question, Ashley?
Yeah, it's kind of the same to keep up with the UX, UI design job, more of, the question that I asked before that was more related to my website and stuff. Like, as you said, it's a new field, and I see like so many different background. Like, what would you recommend to really get kind of great overview of the job in itself and to have a better implementation within a business? Because some people like are literally learning by themselves on the internet and then land a job as UX UI design, and they say like you don't need to go over those courses online and stuff, and others are like, yes, but it's better because you get to be, just to connect with people who are in the field, and then they can give you resources to help you further. So like, what will be your point of view on that, knowing that this is exactly what you're doing?
Oh, there's the principles are key, huh? Even if I did search a lot of information, but I took a full 6-month program with and UX. Also, I was working for a year for a tech school that was giving, so I was recruiting student and user experience design across the world. So I definitely had that background, that strong, very heavy background about user experience designer before I even start working on projects myself. But the interest come from this job that I was occupying. But I do think that, like I said, there's a lot of resources out there, but you need to have this training still. It's still very important for me, the base, because these are the principle of UX, and that won't change. After that, the technology, the tools that we'll be using, obviously this is going to keep evolving, but the core of what is a user experience, what create a great user experience, this has to be learned. And the structure of how to conduct user research, user interview. And if maybe I can share that little information with you, since I see a lot of people seem to be interested about user and UI design. UX design is a lot of designing wireframe. It's not just about doing research. The wireframe part is a lot of things that a lot of my colleagues have struggled with. I remember doing my classes back in 2017, and my class, a lot of people realized that actually user experience was not for them because they were just not interested in designing. So designing is actually something that you really need to be passionate about in order for you to build that career as well. But I totally think that having a base is a must. It's something that you should definitely do. Just going along the way and learning, at some point you're going to feel that you're lacking structure, you're lacking organization and understanding of what user really need, because there's step to understanding the UX process. And this is what actually caused the user experience to be optimal, is because you follow steps throughout your design.
It's very interesting, because to me it's like quite the opposite. building like sales pages and then funnel. I do wireframes and design all the time. So more of the research and all of the other parts that I don't have within my experience, that I'm more looking at, because I mean, I'm still looking at both parts, but this is one that I don't have much experience and background on. So it's very interesting.
Oh yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of people that used to be graphic designers that are not converting it to user experience, because now every business needs to have user experience. So you still find yourself going back from graphic designer to learning user experience, and I see that all the time. I have someone in my team that actually used to be a graphic designer for 15 years that still needed to go back and do UX design, because that's what a company is realizing. Aesthetics comes with research, comes with data. And this is what user experience bring, the data, the quantitative and the qualitative data that you need to back up your design. So once they ask you, okay, why did you choose that layout? Why did you put these like that? So you can say, oh, because actually 60% of your users are actually falling through the crack because your call to action is not properly placed, because this color is too light. So this is UX is the core that you need to back up your design in order to justify why did you go for this type of layout.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's a great conversation. I love
Yeah,
it.
it is. I would love to speak more with you, Ashley.
Love it. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Jessica, for those nice questions. If anyone else has a question, we have a few minutes. If not, we're going to wrap up the webinar. Thank you, everyone, for being here today with us. Today, like I mentioned earlier, today marked the last learn up of the semester, the spring semester. So thank you for being with us today. The replay will be sent to you later today, and the replay for all 4 webinar will be available I think next week or the week after. In terms of Origin, we have a lot going on. Specifically right now, we've shared a few days ago that we are proud partners of Montréal Alliance, our local Montreal basketball team. It's a professional basketball team, so we're very, very, very proud of this partnership. Please follow us throughout the summer for experience with Alliance, but also we have a few things that we're cooking up with the team. So please follow us on social media in order to have access to all the goods that we're preparing for the summer. Pardon. And that will be it for us for a great webinar. Thank you everyone for being with us each week, and follow us also on social media to know when will be the next semester. Thank you. Thank you, Christine.
You're welcome. Bye. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.